truth.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report, guys. We got a little red on this on screen today. Let me fix that background there. Not sure what is going on with that, but hey, got a little thing going on today with the markets. They're a little red. We can see it happening. It's a thing. We're aware of it. Okay, but. Let's talk about what we're seeing with some details today on the report that came in. We had a report on retail sales today, and I've got a little indicator for you guys that we're going to talk about. Has to do with the cardboard boxes. And so, yes, retail sales came in as expected, which was a drop, but the retail sales much worse. So, how does this translate to inflation? We're going to break all that down. Plus, Warren Buffett been doing some big purchases. You guys may remember me talking about this stock, UNH, United Health, up about 10% today. We're going to take a look at that. And then also we had a request for background should be I voted, Piper for Fed. I love your username. Going to talk about a stock that was requested by BC Port Corp. Let's go ahead and get this thing going. You guys know what time it is. Take your seats. Class is in session. Let's go. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on the Morning Market Report. I am Piper. I am Army Piper. Who am I? Who am I? Where are we at? I'm Army Piper. This is the Piper Academy Network. Well, I'm waiting on OC. He was in here. He had some weird Christmas lights going on around him. And I was like, what are the Christmas lights? Do you have Christmas lights in your room? He's like, no. And it was an overlay or something. I said, well, don't worry about it. It's not that bad. And then what happens? He crashes out on me. So we'll see if he makes his way back in here, guys. But welcome and good morning to everyone. Appreciate you guys all being here. Of course, if you have not done so yet, subscribe so that you can comment in the chats. And also drop those emojis. Piper for Fed. I'm going to have to make an emoji for your username. I appreciate it, man. Guys, take a look at the chart here. What we're seeing on this chart is a little drop down to this level. You may remember this. We talked about it all week long. It's the 50 level Fibonacci on top of the dynamic reactor. And what I said is if we come down here and we get a good bounce on this, a sharp bounce, then we would be heading back up. Guys, we came back up and we hit the golden pocket. We're going to take a closer look at this, but Bitcoin screaming out some trouble right now. Overall, markets are looking pretty red today. NASDAQ starting to pull back. S&P is starting to pull back. What does all this mean? Welcome everyone. Let's go ahead and OC is still not in here, so I'm going to have to do a solo cam setup. Let me come over here. Do this, and then we'll get into the news. Let's get that screen set up for you guys. Let's talk about the Bitcoin chart first, though. I want to do that and break that down for you. Let's go over there. Taking a look here, guys, what I was showing on that chart. Yeah, we talked about this level. I said we want to see a good sharp pullback, in which I did think this was going to be the level to watch, 117. Why? It was one of the liquidity zones that we were watching. It was also, once you get up there and you break and you come back, if you lose the golden pocket, what do? You tend to come back down to the 50, and that's also where the dynamic reactor is at. Matter of fact, I had a long setup on here based on that. There it is. Right now, it would still be in profits if you were doing that. If you're looking for a quick scalp, there you had it right there on that run up. But look at that, 0.66 rejection right there. Front ran it just slightly for a pullback, and now it dropped. We just came back to the point of control on the fixed range volume profile. Nice big volume nipple right there. So yeah, I think overall, guys, we're at the range right now that we need to be watching, need to be seeing what's going on here and go, okay, is this going to be our line in the sand, or is this thing going to continue to break and go lower? Right now, looking at the 4-hour on here, I am seeing that we're getting this continuation wave going on the oscillator ribbon, volume looking nasty, and money flow starting to come down. So we'll have to look at that as the show goes on and progresses. But let's go ahead and jump over into the news. And we'll get all of that going to see what all's in the news today. We got to go over the news. All right, let's jump over here. Let's go. And this is not the news you're looking for. See what happens when OC and his shenanigans over there. All right, let me get this screen share right for you guys. There we go. Safari. and crypto bubbles. Bam, look at that. It works great. All right. So looking here at the crypto bubbles, guys, right now, again, lots of red sitting on here. Let's go talk about the metrics on Into the Cryptoverse. Guys, crypto market cap sitting at $3.98 trillion right now. Trend on this is sitting at 4.208 trillion. Undervaluation, only about 5.2%. This thing was getting really close, though. It was like 1.4 yesterday. Getting this pullback has just crushed the hype of getting above that median line. Looking at the current risk levels here, 55.7% on the wristbands. Still sitting at 2x DCA. No big deal. Looking at Bitcoin dominance right now with stable coins, it's at 58.8%. Look at without stable coins, it is 62.96, still holding above that 60 when you take away stables. So that's what we have there. Let's jump into X and talk about fear and greed on Ethereum and Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin fear and greed right now is sitting at 60. We are still in greed. Big pullback from the 74 that we were at yesterday. And look at Ethereum. This thing was in extreme greed. I told, hey, OC, you might be okay for a little setup there on a. Let me get my ticker back up. Little setup there for a short on ETH because we were sitting in extreme greed, and typically you do get small pullbacks when you see that. And there you go. Now we're at 65. We're back in greed. So Robert Jones said, "Don't fear. We're going up." Yeah, and that's what I said on the thumbnail. This is your pullback. Did you guys see that thumbnail? It says, this is your pullback, and it's a little tiny wick on a candle. Yeah, it's okay. What I'm watching is September. I think that's when we get our pullback. So let's go talk about liquidations. We'll come back and talk about X marks the spot. I got a lot of stuff on X today. Looking at the liquidations in the past 24 hours, nothing big, $342 million. We just had $1 billion, so it is what it is, right? $342.18 million in the past 24 hours, cost 96,000 traders. Biggest trade liquidation was on Ethereum. It was for about $2 million. So looking here, let's go into a refresh and let's see if this pulls up the U.S. market. There we go. Dow Jones just slightly up 0.17% right now. The S&P is up about 0.15. S&P down 0.14, I should say. NASDAQ is down 0.17 and Russell 2K down 0.2. It's nothing. This is nothing big, guys. It's a little shakeout, small pullbacks, pretty much flat, really. If you consider that 0.17 is flat, why wouldn't negative 0.14 be flat? That's why I'm looking at that. And then, of course, the VIX is sitting below 15, actually. It's even below the 17, so not too horrible there. Volatility kind of cool and calm. Overnight markets in Europe, we did have the CAC and the FTSE both in the green. The rest of it was in the red. Looking at the Asian markets, a lot of green there. Nifty 50. The Japanese market, the ASX 200 and the Shanghai was all green. HSI was the only one that went to the downside. Look at the bonds. There it is, 4.3% again. 10-year yield pumping back up again. It is what it is. This thing is just not going to go down. It seems like it's get down to 4.2, right back up to 4.3. Why not? Looking at oil here, oil and Brent is in the red. Natural gas is in the green. So for your oil trader, there you go. There's your little pullback today on that. And then gold, guys. Gold is coming back down. Lost that $3,400 level on gold, sitting at $3,382. Down 0.02. Nothing big, but it is losing 3,400. So keep that in mind. Silver sitting at 37.78. Copper is a little bit green today, up 0.3%. Platinum and palladium both to the downside. Palladium getting squashed, negative 3% today. Alt season. Are we in alt season yet, Piper? No, we are not. Calm down. We are at 53 on the index right now. Still far away. We are moving up. We're moving on up. To the alt zone of 75, and it's currently sitting at 53. So getting there, not quite there. We need this thing to get up into the blue zone. That is where you typically see your alt season, according to the alt season index. No bull market tops have triggered, guys. We're still sitting on 0 of 30. Big goose egg, 0 of 30 on the bull market peak indicators right now. Still the biggest one, closest one is Bitcoin dominance, sitting at 90% right now. So even the biggest one is getting a pullback. It's okay. Um, Gold is setting up for a disappointing Tinder date between Trump and Putin. Dutchy, you probably are right. That's exactly what's going on there. People are like, what is this going to end up as? A great deal? It was a great deal. It was a great deal. I made a great deal. Nobody can negotiate like me. Or is this going to be World War III? Who knows? brace for a meeting. That's all you can do with this. Looking here at the crypto bubbles on the hourly, you can see a lot of red. On the green, we do have a couple of things that are green. Let's go down and look here at the Bitcoin. $118,000 currently right now, sitting flat on the daily, down about 0.3% on the hourly. Ethereum is down about 1.1% in the past hour, down about 0.5% still on the daily. But look here, big movers. XRP kind of flat, BNB kind of flat, Solana down 1.4, kind of flat. Cardano, holy cannoli, holy balls in the chat. Cardano ADA is up 2.4%. Did not take a pullback like everything else, sitting at 95.4 cents. I think this year, 95. There you go. Boom shakalaka. There, can we get that? Boom shakalaka. 95 cents now for Cardano. And I think it's going to continue to try to push until it hits $1. We'll see what happens there if it gets a rejection at that level. But up on the daily right now, Hyperliquid, of course, native token on a decentralized exchange. It is up 4% today. And that's pretty much it, guys. Overall, my stance of this is your pullback, that one little candle on the thumbnail, is what we are seeing here, across the board. Nothing too major. Yes, we got a good pump up, but we pulled right back into where we were at, and everyone's going, it's selling off and it's a dump. I'm Pie Bear, man. I am a bear, all right? I looked for those opportunities. That's where I made my most money, was in bear markets. However, pause for effect. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Just be patient. Looking at retail sales here, I'm going to talk about this and then we'll come back and look at it. So retail sales just came in this morning, came in at 7:30 my time, 8:30 a.m. on the East Coast, was previously sitting at negative. It was at 0.6, previously revised from 0.6 to 0.9. So a little better than what it was. 0.3 up, right, is what they moved this up. Consensus was that it would be 0.5, 0.4, and now it's coming in as expected on consensus. Here's the interesting part. Previously, it was at 0.6%. They moved it up 0.3%, and this still comes into this. So is this actually 2% more than what it was? Do you see what I'm saying? 2% more than what it was, but it moves up because of this 0.3% change to its previous number. So this goes from 0.2 to 0.4 or 0.5, I mean, making it better than what was consensus or forecast, or is this just a standalone? I think what you really need to take a look at here is going to be the control group. And this retail sales control group, they remove things. This is a good gauge of retail sales, right? Without things that have huge swings in it, like auto dealerships, food services, building material stores, gasoline stations, right? These exclude those items because they're too volatile to get a control group, right? This one came in higher. Let's go back to it. Control group came in at 0.5, was expected to be 0.4, 0.3. Okay, so when you take out the volatile things, you can see, yeah, it was down a little bit here from 0.8 to 0.5, but as overall, this thing is showing that we had better than expected here, not meets expectations, so better than expected. That means retail sales are up, okay? Let's go over here, and I'll bring OC up because I have OC now. What's up, dude? Welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing better. No more lights out there. Seems like it was
Nice.
the issue fixed, but it made me report like
Nice.
3 times in a row.
It happens like that. So I want to talk about this control group for retail sales because yesterday I said, hey guys, I'm seeing an unorthodox indicator that's giving me some insight on the numbers for retail sales. If you guys don't know, retail sales are 70% of the economy. 70%. So when you see a slowdown on retail sales, which we did see a slowdown, but it was at consensus, it met expectations, right? to where they thought it would be. So they expected to slow down. But when you see retail sales start to slow down, that typically tells you that the economy is getting weak, right? But the numbers are not matching. And as someone said, the numbers are all cooked, right? They're all scam. It's true. It's true. But I want to show you guys what I found here yesterday. Let's jump over here to news cam with OC. What's up, OC? Here we go. What declining cardboard box sales tell us about the economy? Okay. Cardboard box sales have dropped big time. Analysts and investors will scour Friday's retail sales report for a readout on how U.S. households are feeling about the economy. Those watching the cardboard box industry say they already have an idea. A non-traditional economic indicator, sales of corrugated cardboard used to make the boxes that transport everything from donuts to dishwashers are slumping, signaling that retail demand across industries may be due for its own correction in the not too distant future. Okay, because this is this month's sales for corrugated boxes. They need to get those in order to pack things, in order to send it out later. So in the not too distant future, they're saying that this is going to play out on us. U.S. box shipments, that is volumes of empty packaging materials sold to retailers, which in turn use them to ship orders to warehouses, storefronts, and American doorsteps, fell to the lowest second quarter reading since 2015. Now, let's talk about that information and the numbers that we just saw, because I have another factor in here. We saw a pullback in retail sales, correct, OC? But it was not as bad as it was at expectations. It came back to what they expected it to pull back to. Um, I went through all of this with Chat GPT last night. We did a whole chat about it. We talked. I said, let's talk numbers. And she said, okay, we can do that. We'll talk numbers. And I asked her, I said, so let me ask you a question. If retail sales come out of expectations, but these sales numbers on these boxes, and I know it's a lagging, this is a predictor indicator, right? So this is saying next month, September, when I've said we may get a pullback in the markets, could have some even lower economic numbers. But I asked her also, how long has this slowdown of box sales been going on? And it's been going on for a couple of months. It's just not to this level. If the numbers are coming in at expectations, but slightly down, and inflation is up, wouldn't that mean that, because retail sales is not the number of items sold, it's the amount of money brought in on retail sales. If inflation's up, we could actually be seeing that retail sales volume is even lower than what we're seeing right now, because it's being made up for with inflationary cost. So, man, I got to tell you guys, I do think that there is an ominous dark cloud on the horizon, between the boxes giving us projections on retail sales and how badly it is going, or how they expect to be doing, and then on top of that, the inflation numbers that are actually pumping that retail sales volume up. And so overall, OC, what I think is the most interesting point of all of it here, September's coming. What happens in like October, November, usually people start buying their Christmas gifts. They start
my
ordering
birthday.
stuff. What's your birthday?
October 21st.
Okay. People start buying birthday gifts for OC, right? And so let's go, OC. If we're not seeing these boxes coming out, how bad is the holiday shopping going to be this year? And that is this a little another predictor of, hey, 2026 might be looking really bad. Christmas for 2025 not happening this year, and that's where the majority of retail makes some money. I just wanted to break all that down. It's pretty interesting when you look at different different unorthodox angles at stuff, right? Perfect story time with Army Piper. Perfect example of that is back in the day, Russia was working on a stealth submarine. And they want, if you don't know how stealth works, it's dampening the sound through signal, right? And so they were working on creating, we hunt the Red October, And I'm talking about submarines in Russia. Interesting, Robert Jones. If you look at the idea of what Russia was doing, they wanted to make the stealth submarine that was going to, not be able to be found by any of our sonar or any of that in the military. Okay. So they did it. They made the most quiet submarine ever. We could not pick it up and detect it at all. Do you know how we found it, OC?
Oh, I just remember this story time. You told me
I
before,
told you
but
this
I'm gonna
before.
say
Yes.
no. Yes, but I'm just gonna go no for the show story because it is something like blew my mind. But yes,
They
tell
they
me more.
found it because there was a bubble of no sound in the ocean. There's a natural signature to everything. Everything has a signature and measures and signatures intelligence, MASINT. Everything has a signature, okay? Whether it be a light signature, sound, frequency, everything has a harmonious vibration. Um, so no, someone aside farted. No, that's not it, JR. So look where the noise isn't exactly BC. And right now I'm seeing that bubble of no sound sitting here in this box industry, giving us a whole nother forecast that we're not seeing in the numbers right now. So be aware of it. Cardboard box indicator, a lot like the stripper indicator from OC guy there. This is what we're seeing. So, with your bagpipes, I only played the bagpipes for 2 years, and that was an additional duty assignment. Additional, it's like on top of your job. So, just so you know. Dutchy thinking that's all I did. No, I was an intel analyst, man. I trained the Peshmerga on personnel recovery operations and planning. I planned most of the strike missions for the recovery of downed pilots for all the strike missions against ISIS. I trained 3,400 Afghan police on weapons who all ran from the Taliban as soon as we left and gave them all the weapons that I trained them on. Um, there you go. I've been all over. I've been everywhere, man. All right, OC. Let's go kick it over to Bitcoin. I do have a couple of more things here on the news side that I'm going to talk about, but let's go take a look at Bitcoin and see what we're seeing on there. Let's get into some charts, bro. You want to do that? Let's do that. I like that idea.
Let's do that. All right, so all right, so first, before I move on here, I have two things to say. First, we absolutely need to make an Army Piper podcast because that sounds like you have so many stories, and I want to hear about just number four of them. And I'm dying to know how those play out, man. So I think we need to make another show here. Another one, it is that hey, stripper index cardboard box real retail correction. I mean, what is next? Banana peel graphics or nutshell index? I mean, welcome to the seven capital scene show. I don't know. Just kidding. But I think looking at those things are looking something else that give you the data that you're missing out from the numbers might be giving you kind of like a backup here. But it just seems funny how the market reflects itself on the day on these things, right? And I don't know, I just think that was hilarious. So getting back into here, oh, very quick, AVAX, if you haven't, it's time to take some profits. We yesterday take a very D trade, a very dangerous trading here. AVAX is coming back down to your entry point. You should already have your stop to entry. So if you haven't, please take some profits. The early warning, you should be just, I mean, slightly profits. But again, just warning, it did hit. No audio. All right, perfect. I guess that we can continue. Uh, Very quick, just was saying that, guys, we took this trade yesterday. We hit TP number one. Very important if you haven't. Now I can hear you. Very important if you haven't, take your profits already because it's coming back down. And I'd rather just take a little bit before, it's imminent stopped out at profits because we should be already have taken 50% out. Other than that, where we're standing, yesterday we went for a very dangerous trade. Oh, right here on Bitcoin. So BTC, very dangerous trade taking out there. But I also mentioned I want to see a couple of other candles right there to play it out. And guess what? We got one, two other candles hovering over that zone. I am looking at that roundup section. So I decided to jump in here at that very dangerous trade. I know I marked it right here, but I ended up entering somewhere around that area, around 117,900. The same thing happened, coming back up, and then we should be already taking our profits because we should be already at entry in here. But so far, so good. We're still within the same area right here. Something important is that I don't want to think that this is the lower high. I really don't want to think that, but something very, very important had happened, which is, remember, we're looking at this trend line in here and talking about, let me just hide everything, talking about structure, low, higher low, higher low, higher low, high, higher high, higher high, higher high, and then lower high. Guys, we have put down a lower low here. The next thing by structure is a lower high, or yeah, or bounce of the trend line. So be careful out there. We might have a little nose coming up in here, and well, we'll see how that structure plays out. Because remember, right here, look at that lower high. But since we were into a range, we decided not to. So let's hope for the best in here that plays out like that, and it doesn't go like that much farther downwards. Kelly was mentioning, hey Kelly, by the way, what's up? How bearish am I? Um, to be honest, I'm neutral. At this point, I'm thinking that this could be the way to go. So coming back to my alert at 120, 158. Uh, but but if we start losing dynamic reactor, that's when I absolutely gonna turn very, very bearish. Like I don't know, like 112, 110 bearish. So that is for me, Piper.
Awesome. Let's jump over here and give a shout out to everybody now that you're all in here with us, OC. Let's see what we got here. We got Dutchy. He's heading out. Appreciate you being here, Dutch. Trade Intuition in here with us. JR, Alexander GR, Mod Queen, BC Port Corp. He said, I was worried for a second we were going to get rugged. No, we just had a connection issue with OC. We're back now, though. We're good. We're good, bro. Duality C is in here. Robert Jones, he was with 5th Signal Battalion. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for your service. Brother at arms right there. And then Baba Yaz asked a question here. Baba Yaz said, what is going on with the social indicator? I haven't heard you talk about it in a while. Let's go talk about that real fast, OC. Let's jump over here and let's bring that up because he's talking about this indicator right here, this crypto risk indicators. And he's talking about this purple one right here, social risk, still sitting in the green. But I do want to point out that the summary, which is a combination of price, on chain, and social. So on chain is almost at 60% wristband. It's pushing up. Price is at 0.462. It's getting into the neutral zone now. So these two are pulling the summary up. So while social still sitting quite low, we are seeing that price and on chain are both getting into neutral zones and giving us higher risk levels, I will say. Looks like right now, on chain is at 56% wristband, price is at 46.2. So social still sitting quite low, Baba Yaz. Great question. Appreciate you asking it. And I'll try to remember to keep you up to date on that. Any changes to that indicator, I should be telling you guys, because at the end of the day, this has been a pretty accurate dashboard for where are we on the risk levels. But let's talk about this, OC. We talked about this earlier in the week, and I said, look, September, very likely going to be a pullback month for us. And we historically have seen that we pull back to wristbands. Where are we at with that band right now? Because everyone's talking about the crash, right? Guys, that's our crash. That candle right there. That's our crash. That wick. And this is a weekly. So yeah, it's on a weekly, a pretty decent pullback. And that could indicate top side, right? You can see here when you get a lot of wicks on top, typically means, hey, downside coming. You see it down here too. Let's pull it over there. Downside, right? But not always. And the reason that I think that I say not always is because I do think that we still have about another week for this to recover and get back up. Then we go into September and get the pullback. The level I would watch coming in, if we look at next week's level, a couple weeks from now, where's that? It's going to be about $109,500 for our pullback if we do what we have historically done. And what is that? That's a July August pump. Okay. July August pump. Let me go back there to it. There it is. July August pump right there. July and August pullback, bull market support band. Okay. Go back and look again. Other levels here. July August pump right there, pull back to the bull market support band. Go back and look again, July, August pump right there, pull back to the bull market support band. If you look at the projections that we are right now on the bull market support band, it kind of gives you that dotted projection there, with little foreshadowing of where this thing will be. It's right there. Can I draw better? Thanks. Right there. If we get another pump up here and we pull back to that, guys, you're talking about a 10 to 12% pullback versus the typical 25% pullback that we see. So overall, I don't think that there's anything too major to worry about. I see OC disappeared from my screen. That's okay. But overall, guys, when you look at what we see in September, we see July, August. Let's go back to 2013 again. July, August, green, red, September, just slightly on that one. Back to 2017, green, July, August, pull back in September. 2021, green, July, and August, pull back in September. So if we have this a repeating pattern happen again, I do think we see the pullback. I just don't think it's right now. Again, overall, that's your crash. There's your crash right there, that one wick. So just zoom out a little bit. We haven't lost any key levels yet. Nothing massive going on here. Looking at the daily here on the Bitcoin daily charts, oscillators, we are getting a down pull on the histogram. We did get the red trigger here on downtrend on the Oscillator Pro. We had it here also. That led to this pullback. If we look at the pullback to the 50 day simple moving average, we're talking about 115. If it's back down to the 100s, it's about 111,000. Down to the dynamic reactors, about 108, and that would be in line with what we just saw on the bull market support band. So overall, don't be scared, be prepared, relax. I think everything is still looking pretty good here overall on the chart. So time-wise, we got about 84 days before we hit the end of this run here, and this has been a time-based classic for taking your profits. Sometimes it front runs it a little bit here. This one was happened in December and it ended in January, so about a month early. But this one right now, guys, November 3rd, sorry, end of October. So I think what we see is we come down, we get our drop down in September bull market support band. If we find support on it, heavy in for the last euphoric run before the end of the cycle. So that's what I'm watching on Bitcoin right now, though. On the 4-hour, we are heading back down to that zone of the dynamic reactor, and that 50% might be another setup there for another quick scalp at that level, sitting at about 117.4. Let's go over here. Let's talk about this while we're waiting for OC guy to come back in. Because OC, you have completely lost camera on me, bro. Not sure if you're tracking that or not. Looking here at what I'm seeing on the bar charts, yeah, stop worrying about the bear markets. Just look, 487% run up, had a bear market lasted 1.2 years, 18% downside, okay? Comes back in, 27%. Comes in for 114% run over 4.1 years, a half a year, 27%. So the pullbacks bad? Absolutely. But if you're prepared to catch those bottoms and run for that next ride up, this happens all the time, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to catch that. We've got the ultimate indicator for it. It is the MVP oscillator on Chart Prime on the monthlies, and that is what we're going to use to catch the bottoms of the markets. If you're in our Discord, you will know. You will know, I promise. Actually, trust me, I'll be talking about it on X. It'll be on the show too. But you guys will know as soon as I see it. Everyone else will have to wait for the next stream. So, Kabisi letter, put this out. Get your popcorn ready. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway just spent 2 quarters accumulating a mystery stock. Okay. come back. Mystery stock. Today, the Berkshire just closed that the mystery position was a $5 billion stake in United Health, the United States' largest insurance company, which announced a Department of Justice probe for fraud, one of the world's largest companies by market cap. The stock fell by about 60% in under 1 year from its all-time high. Can he stop the sinking ship? Can he turn it around? Let's go over there and talk about UNH, and I'll show you guys what is going on with that today. It is up 11%. This is the level that I told everyone to watch. And this is where I bought more UNH at. I said, watch for the platinum pocket. If we lose this, because we got this rejection here, I said, looks like we're going to have more downside. I said, watch for 237, 78, 887, start accumulating in the platinum pocket. We are now out of the platinum pocket, and we're finding out that Berkshire Hathaway picking up $5 billion worth of this stock. It does look like we on the 4 hour, we are a little overextended, so it might come back and test that 786. But yeah, guys, that level that we called, platinum gold right there. So hope that helps you guys out. Let's go check out a couple of other stocks. Circle talked about this. I said, here's your accumulation level 123 to 143 inside the platinum pocket right now, struggling to get outside the 786. I do think we still come down and hit this 887, possibly wicking into this volume node. Keep that in mind. Also, that's on that stock front. And then let's go check out Reddit for BC Port Corp. And then we'll talk about why I still think we have a little bit more of a downside pull coming on Bitcoin. It has to do with the CME gap. Everyone's talking about the gap is closed. Gap is not closed. Don't know why people are saying that. We'll take a look at that in 1 second. Where are you at, Reddit? There we go. Take a look at Reddit. He said he's up a lot on this stock. And yeah, I can see why. So this is the trend-based fib that I did a while back. I did this all the way back here when we were talking about these levels. And I said, here's your levels. Look, just start watching these levels. Look at that. I would say that based on the fact that we've broken the phase 4 golden pocket, BC, very likely heading up to 263 on this. If we come back in and break below this, then maybe take some profit. Take your money and run. I don't know that I would get completely out of it. Some stocks are nice to hold for a while. But yeah, right now you are above another phase at $225. So if we come down and we have any type of break beneath that, maybe take some profit off the table. If it comes back in and gets another retest and heads up, then you can always reapply in and with their same amount of money that you had in originally. So overall, though, I still think this has got more room to move. I think it's heading to 263 on Reddit. We do have a lot of bearish divergences printing here. And typically when this thing starts to print some, we do get pullbacks. But that pullback amount there, if we were to come back to that platinum pocket from where we are, that's an 8% pullback. I think that's enough to say, hey, we had a divergence and it played out. So that's what I got there for you, man. Let's go take a look at this other chart. And I think OC has left the building. He's having issues down there in Mexico. Let's talk about this. This is everyone's saying that the CME gap is closed, guys. And they're talking about because they're looking at the 4 hour. Okay. Looking at the 4 hour right here. But that's not where the candle closed at. The candle didn't close there. It's a daily thing. And if we look at this daily, the candle closed down here at 117.20, okay? We have not cleaned this out. I do think we're going to come down to about 117 and completely close this daily CME gap out officially. Yes, it closed here, but that was not the candle close. The candle closed here, which means the gap happened from the close to the open, and that is this entire box. So hopefully that helps everybody and gets them a little more clarity on the CME gap being closed or being not closed. It's not closed. So I do think 117 is coming in a little bit lower here. Let's go over here, Duo Cam. I know OC is not on here with me, but let's go check out the chat. Username, holla if you hear me, Piper for Fed. You guys in this Piper for Fed. I would never ever do that job, first of all. Second of all, I am not qualified to do that job. Thirdly, my soul has enough taint on it. I don't need to be able to go. I don't need to, you have to be able to trade with the sound of mortars. Oh, And OC's back. I don't have the ability to have any more shadowy taint put on my soul from working with the Federal Reserve. Okay, that's too much. I'm trying to build my karma up, man. I have a lot to make up for in my life. OC, what are you looking at on altcoins? Glad to have you back, by the way. OC had left the building, then he came back. He went and got some fresh squeezed orange juice put in his coffee. OC, what do you got on the alt side? Let's take a look at those charts, bro.
Absolutely. As my wife would say, you cannot leave me unsupervised throughout more than 2 hours. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of things in here. Something really quickly is that we are setting up things for the top-down analysis. Let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum short should be already being closed. We're bouncing back up and bouncing back down. So right here, we're going to be looking for what's going to happen. Let me just get rid of this. This is already gone. Let me just also get rid of this because we are creating the predicted trend line in here. So we have another pivot here. So that is not good for Ethereum. This actually looks more of what I would love to see on Bitcoin. But if we are creating a lower low, which this isn't actually a lower low, and how do I know that? Because I can draw a very nice trend line like this, and that low is within line. So let me actually do it the correct way. There we go. But we're trying to lose this trend line right here, so we need to be a little bit careful. Absolutely. Something important that I was mentioning yesterday, it was circling these areas right here that I would like to see on Ethereum. So some ranges. Look at what happened there. Look at what happened here, and look at what happened here, where we range right sideways. And well, then I do remember calling this out something like that. So that's exactly the same thing that I'm expecting. In fact, you can see it right here down on my other oscillator. What am I pointing at that area? So I believe that we could be coming back down somewhere around 4,336. And I'm going to be moving that alert slightly up like this, just so it doesn't slip between my fingers once again, because that is why F Ethereum, because it likes to just not respect the support and resistance that I have on screen. All right. So Ethereum, please start moving when I tell you to. Of course, it doesn't. But we're going to be looking for that, maybe sweep of the lows, creating a lower high, and then we'll see what happens after that. The major support to resist, it's going to be the 4,310-ish, around that area. And well, after that, that will be a good opportunity to re-enter. Litecoin making a head and shoulders, a very ugly head and shoulders, to be honest, something like this with a flat neckline. Not only that, I mean, we could actually measure this as a, let me bring this up, perfect, as a megaphone at this point with slightly flat bottom right there, going to the dynamic reactor. This is something that I don't like about Litecoin right now, is that we are on the dynamic reactor, very close to the dynamic reactor. We are on bouncing areas. We are also going into this oversold zone here, and we're almost there with a flip of the ribbon, which, I mean, if I wouldn't seen Bitcoin retracing, I would say that we should be preparing for a long on Litecoin. So let's do one more time. Remember, once we have the setup, like for example in AVAX, right, we called it up like a dangerous trade, and that is because the confidence on that trade is not there yet. But we're seeing some signals that is indicating us that we should be taking some action. So the same thing is happening here. I'm getting to a big support. I'm still bullish. My consolidation score is low. I have small candles in here. Of course, they're not the same ones that I would love to see, but still small candles. I'm close to that oversold, and I'm front running that flip with the ribbon. The only actual key bearish thing that I would like to say that we have, it is that we haven't had the flip of the ribbon for once, and then the other one is that we haven't had our peak performance reversal. So I mean, we could very much come back down with strength with one more candle, and then do another two candles to create an actual lower low, and then coming back down. That's why we're going to do exactly as we did before, is a 1 quarter entry. Our stop loss is going to be, well, this is just getting too to extend it. Let me see if I can have anything else. Well, I do have this liquidity zone, so let's go and aim a little bit better, somewhere around there, right below our support line, right at 113 06. And we're going to be aiming at our next resistance. Are we above one? Yes, so let's go for that area of entry. We're not there yet on our entry, but let's mark an alert right there, and of course make it a bit lower right there. I think that we could be jumping in for that entry. If you want to wait, I would also recommend waiting at least at 116, but I want to enter on dynamic reactor. So that is what I got on Litecoin for now. So things are like balanced. That's why we're going in a low position. Is at the shortest that we can go on our stop loss so far. Let's go into BNB. BNB looking very nice. All right. So what is it? What is it so nice about it? That we have a flat bottom in here. All right. So that flat bottom indicates to me that we most likely going to be breaking to the downside. We are in the middle of this area, so we can absolutely keep going downwards. We are coming back down in here. We are not seeing any flips in here, so we can go farther downwards. And right here, we are at the zero line fighting for that zone. So I think that what I want to do on BNB, it's going to go for a breakout short. I'm going to set my stop loss almost at the top of that same candle, and then aiming my taking profits at the dynamic reactor, somewhere around these areas of support and resistance. And do we have something? Yeah, well, we do have our golden line right there. Let me see if I have anything else. So we might have just a slight shorter move. So let's go for that one right here. And let's see, are we above one? We are not. So this is not going to be a trade unless we do scale entries. So what would that be for me for my scale entry? Maybe I can do another scale entry right here, and that will do a what 1 quarter at our entry point and another quarter at our scale. That is the only way that I can force it to actually come back up in here somewhere around there and have a much better set of risk reward ratio. Other than that, looking for ultimate target to dynamic reactor. We need to be, again, this is a very dangerous trade. Let's mark that up so we know what we're doing. So we know what the F we're doing, right? This is a D trade. All right. And let's go, of course, Litecoin. It's another D trade. Let's go for that one, dangerous trade. All right. So this is a D trade. Perfect. To wrap things up, let's go take a look at XRP. XRP, I was expecting to bounce up, maybe get somewhere around here. It haven't. We also are waiting for any targets right there between 299 and 325, 24-ish to start looking to what to do. I mean, if we get above this area, we short it. And if we get below this area or at this area, we're going to be trying to long it if we have a flip of the ribbon. The flip of the ribbon should be almost there. In fact, I think we already have it, but we are below dynamic reactor, and this last candle is still aiming lower. So no entry so far on XRP. Let's finalize with with Link. Link for me, we're having right here a trend line, and we could be making a head and shoulders. Hopefully, we bounce out of this area because what a disappointment would be that this is the right shoulder. But all right, if we are breaking this trend line for that, let's just give it a little bit of air.
It
Let's
would have
right
that
click.
bigger shoulder leaning into it also at the front there. Big shoulder leaning in.
Oh,
That's not a good head and shoulders pattern. It can hurt.
yes, it could. Absolutely. So let's add alert to it. And it seems like we can still go or run downwards. We are bearish right here, and we haven't had the flip of the ribbon. So let's go for some support areas that we can go for. Oh, like it. I like it. All right. The failure point will be bouncing off the blue line once again. All right. But the blue line, it is the most broken line right there. So we go through it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I'm not that worried, but that's still a possibility. All right. So if that is the chance, remember, we could be getting hurt on that bounce. Nevertheless, let's go for a short position as we're breaking that trend line. And I'm not going to be waiting that much for that breakout retest. And that is because we have an order block right away. And so I believe that if we break, maybe we can do one candle retest and nothing really important, and then go hit our target right there. Our stop loss is going to be right at the topic here, just in case it reverses on us. There it is. And that will be for Link. All right, guys. So it seems like I am more bearish than bullish. Hopefully that answers also Kelly fans' question in there. Feeling wise, I don't know, man. I don't feel that bearish, but I've just realized
I don't either. I don't either. I do think we're going to see a little pullback, a little bit lower, but I don't think that I do think that we finish this month strong, and then September is where we see that pullback. But again, even that one, if it holds the bull market support band like we've shown in the past, 3 cycles, it's done that. July, August up, September down to the bull market support band. If we do that again, we're talking about a maybe 10 to 12% pullback, and that's nothing. That's a Tuesday in Bitcoin. So overall, guys, not looking too bad. One last look here at Bitcoin. We are coming down right now onto that dynamic reactor. This is the area that I said we needed to watch for support. If we lose this, guys, likely heading down to 115,670. So still, we're talking about a pullback of Bitcoin to $116,000. Just, keep that in mind. So bear market, not here yet. Pullback, sure, why not? Continue the DCA plan. We're still on a 2x DCA, and this has just given me a great opportunity to do my weekly 2-time DCA on the Bitcoin risk level, which is what we're at right now. All in our Discord, guys. If you're a member here, you have access to that. Go check it out. It's a how to DCA and how to take profits on your DCA, right? Because nothing's realized until you get out of it. And if you don't want a round trip, check out the Piper plan. That's what we're going to do. All right, OC, that is about all the time we have today. I need to let you go so you can get over and do your show over on Chart Prime. You got a sharp show over there in their Discord, and then I'll see you there in about an hour for our weekly TA Plus session, guys. Appreciate everyone joining us here today. If you guys have not done so, please smash up that like button. It helps us out immensely. I hate asking you guys for it, but if you guys smash up the likes, it helps us grow. We can give this alpha to more people, and then maybe I can, get Gypsy groomed more often. I don't know. Well, it'll all go to Gypsy. She gets all my money now. It used to be the wife. Now the wife wants things for the dog, so it's basically going to the dog. Gypsy in the chat, if you guys know, you know. All right, OC, what do you got for the people on the way out, man? Besides a muted microphone.
Man, that was pretty bad. I would say that, hey, I don't hate to ask you for that like button. So, okay, no.
You're good now. You're good now.
So go ahead and click that like button for us. Really help with the algorithm. Thank you very much for stopping by and spending a little bit of your time with us. Other than that, see you guys on
It's Friday. Remember,
gaming shows Friday.
It's the weekend. Volume can be wonky. Be safe this weekend, guys. Trade well, trade smart, use some risk management. OC will be live today, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the Trade Live with OC, and then we'll be back here on Monday morning doing it all over again. Good Morning Crypto with BC Port Corp. We'll be back at 10 a.m. giving you guys all the news, charts, headlines, alpha, macro that you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until next time, guys, peace, love, and profits. We're out. That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done. You can't handle the truth. Emotional damage. We'll see you at the next one. What the fuck they're doing. Morning market report out.
at the next one. Morning market report. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude!
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?